Now we can discuss about how to write the lab record book. Okay, yesterday in all the class, the record books sheets have been distributed to all. Okay, whoever not received, then you can use the available A4 sheets itself to write. But follow these instructions, whatever I am going to provide. How you can write your record. Okay, whatever the experiment you get completed, that is the programs. Okay, use the provided record sheet book to write the experiment whichever you completed. Okay, before writing this, kindly execute all the code, get verify that output, then you can write the same. If whoever not collected, take the A4 sheets. In that A4 sheet, follow the same instruction. You can write it. Then later you can update the same thing. It is not at all be a problem. Okay, in that A4 sheet, whatever is to be get provided, in which the lab number, what is to be there, you need to write. Then date when you conducted. Okay, that is every lab experiment, whichever I discussed, that particular date you have to write. Then title of that lab program or the code, what is to be present. Okay, then the allocation of the particular example to be shared in a sheet. Okay, that sheet you have to refer for writing up your the particular example what is to be allocated for you guys. Okay, then third one is use blue ink for headings and comments. Okay, whatever you are going to write that hash with respect to particular line, those comments and the headings. Preferably you can write using blue ink. Then all remaining content should be written using black ink only. Okay, follow this. Don't use the red ink. Then what you need to write in the record sheet. First thing is that for writing your record, you have to add the aim of that particular code, what's to be presented. Then what type of software you have used. Because already I clearly told we are using the Python or the MATLAB. Okay, among that the Python I am executed. In that Python, there will be three softwares are to be available. Okay, one is Jupyter, then another one is IDLE, then third one is the Visual Studio. Okay, among that, whichever one you get installed, that you can use it for your execution point of view. That software you can mention. Okay, if it is not available so to that install software, then you are using the Google Colab. Okay, you can use the mentioning of that particular Google Colab itself. Then mandatory you have to write the theory, whatever is to be related to that particular code itself. Then later the allocated program what is to be given for the particular example, because each program is having some example 1.1 1.2 1.3 like this is to be there. Okay, those things what you need to do, particularly whichever is to be represented to you, allocated to you, that only you have to write. Remaining it is not required to write. Then output of that particular program what you have written. Then complete procedure. Okay, as of now, I discussed with only Python. Write the Python procedure only. No need to write the MATLAB procedure and write the result of the same. Then how to scan that written document and save in PDF. Okay, that I already have said that video. Okay, you can watch that video, then proceed the same thing. Okay, for your reference point of view, that video link will also be adding in the description itself. Okay, this is the procedure, how you need to proceed for your writing your record. Okay, this is what the first practice code, that is introduction to Python. Everyone mandatory or write this introduction to Python. Then you have to draw this diagram. Then structure. Okay, among this, the many content are there, but I have not allocated all the topic you to write individual. Okay, the some of the topic I have made that to different set of people, you have to write the particular topic, particular content. According to that allotment only, you need to write your record what is to be allocated for that particular point only. Okay, heading you are write using blue ink. Then these explanations are there na, that you can write in black ink. Then again it is heading blue ink. Then whatever the explanation you are going to write na, that should be in black ink. Okay, for example, if you consider a code. Okay, in this code, this is what comment. Okay, hash line what is to be written. Okay, this is called as a comment. This comment you can write using what? Blue ink, because you can clearly identify that what is that comment is to be there. Okay, then remaining content what is to be there, this code, then you can write by using black ink itself. Okay, follow this. Okay, then heading always you are write using the blue ink itself. Okay, then output corresponds to that, you can proceed the same thing. Output heading you write using blue ink, then whatever output you are going to get now, that you can write using black ink. Okay, kindly follow this for all type of code, what you are going to write for the record point of view. Okay, this is with respect to the what? The code what is to be there with respect to the observation. Okay, this particular whatever the topic is to be allocated to you, that related topic only you can write. Okay, then remaining thing is not at all be required. Okay, keep this in mind for your reference point of view. Then first experiment for this, the lab 1, lab 2 are not defined because this is practice is to be required to understand the all the commands what are to be available to make the execution point of view. Because of that reason we carried. Then I told okay, with respect to this lab 1 date you have to write then title, then you have to proceed with respect to the what, aim, software theory. Okay, here in your record sheet, that is a lab manual, we have defined like this only. You have to write lab number 1. Okay, first one practice it is not at all be required. Okay, lab number 1, which day you have conducted. Okay, then what is its title? Title you write aim. Okay, heading you have to write using blue ink, then this you have to write using black ink. Okay, then software you used. For your execution point of view, if you have used Python, that is online tool, you can mention that online tool. Okay, if you have used the Jupyter or IDLE or Visual Studio, you can mention that. Okay, then MATLAB we are not executed. That MATLAB it's not required to write. Once I completed, I will inform that what you need to write. Then theory. Okay, theory heading you write. Then remaining the explanation you can write as it is. Okay, the theory is mandated to write everyone, which is to be required. Then later, then allocated this example to individual. Who need to write the example 1? Who need to write the example 2? Okay, that allocation only, according to that you can write that particular code itself. Because the whatever these seats which are to be get provided, according to that what is to be required, you can write. Okay, here heading you have to write using the blue ink. Then this is your code. Okay, in this code, the whatever the hash lines are there, these are called as a comments. Okay, these comments you have to write using blue ink. Then remaining you have to write using the black ink itself. But follow this syntax. Simply don't write capital letters. How it should be there, according to that only you have to write. Okay, there is no discrimination with respect to that of the code what you are going to write with respect to the program itself. Okay, that also you can follow. Okay, because instead of this small p, if you are written capital P, then you are not going to get the output itself. That itself is what? Syntax error. Then output heading you write using blue ink, then draw the diagram same. Neatly. That is to be required. Okay, this is how you need to write your record book, whatever the experiment you have completed with respect to till day. Okay, almost I have completed practice codes, then lab 1, lab 2. Okay, then lab 3 I'm going to assign with respect to that observation and the recorded video which to be available. For one section already I completed. The one more section I have not completed. Refer that video, then make the execution of that lab 3 also. Okay, these things you can practice because these are to be required for your the examination point of view. Okay, then whatever these holidays are to be available, then make utilize the same thing, then make your execution. Okay, if possible, I will do this execution of this MATLAB codes also. Then I will save that videos. Watch that video, then proceed to save execution itself. Because this MATLAB is also one of the tool to make the execution of the what? The mathematical programs. Okay, this is with respect to the what? The experiment wants to be there. Procedure you have to write only the Python. Okay, right now I didn't get this. No need to write this. Mandatory you have to write the result. Whatever the experiment you have completed. With respect to that, you can write your results. Okay, then similar to that, lab 2. Okay, then corresponds to that of the lab 3 also, you can write the same thing. Follow the same procedure for everything. Then theory it is mandatory to write for all the experiment, and the syntax also be required, because also this is also be what? The theory concept only. Okay, don't exclude this. Later, the allocated example. Example 1.1, you are write example 1.1 only. If it is example 1.2, write only 1.2 only. Okay, remaining all it is not at all be required. Hope it will be clear to what you need to write for your record point of view. That is record 1, whatever the introduction and the practice programs. Okay, I allocated for the particular set of people what topic you need to write. That is not necessary to write the all the whatever the practice code you executed, because already you are written that is in observation. That is more than enough. Okay, for record point of view, for this set of people, okay, you need to write the introduction, then programming structure with one example, then conditional structure, that is if statement, then if else statement, then nested if else statement, then else if statement. For this one example, you can write. Okay, with respect to the conditional structure. Then the second set of people, then allocated introduction is mandatory to write. Then mathematical operation in Python with one example. Okay, that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, exponential. Okay, these things you have to write. Then corresponds that one example you need to write. Then built-in function of the math, that is the square root, the log. Okay, all these are what? The built-in function which are to be available in the Python itself that you can use. Then third set is what? The introduction to Python. Then control flow loops, that is a loop function. Okay, each loop that is for each loop you have to consider one example, then you can write the same. For loop one, then while loop one example. Okay, it is already there one code. Whatever the code you have executed, that you can write. That is code which will contain for loop functionality, then code which will contain with respect to the while loop functionality. Okay, these things you can write. Then similar thing will be get repeated to the others. Okay, this is what is to be represented for what? That is record 1 for the practice. Okay, then record 2. Okay, in that record 2, we are mentioning here that is 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Okay, so that corresponds to that 1.1 example that you have to write for this particular person. Okay, then 2D, that is with respect to the Cartesian plot 1.1. Okay, with respect to the polar plot 2.1. Okay, preferably whatever is to be allocated to you, that only you have to write along with what? Aim, then software used, theory, code, output, then result. Follow the same thing. Okay, then similar to that, record 3. Okay, that is 1.1 example, then 2.1 example, 3.1. Because in this, that is angle between the two polar curve, then radius of the curvature, then parametric curves. Okay, related to this topic, you can make your the particular experiment, whatever code which is to be allocated to you. Okay, don't write all the code what is to be there in your manual itself, because all those codes you have written in already in the observation itself. Then you got that execution also, then you got the output. That is more than enough. Okay, no need to write with respect to the what? MATLAB examples itself, not required. Only the Python you can write. Okay, then similar to for that, finding the partial derivative and the Jacobian. That is the record number 4. Okay, this is what the lab 3, 1.1, then 2.1 for that particular person. Whatever the topic it is to be allocated, that particular example only you have to write in record. Okay, don't write all the codes what is to be reflected in your manual itself. Hope it will be clear to everyone. Thank you for watching.